Hi, welcome to conversation number 103 with Dr. D.
And
Sarah D. That's me. So today we've been discussing in our conversations throughout the week, actually for a few weeks we've been discussing this, and finally we're going to get to it here. And I bet you are so excited because we've kind of hinted to what it is. He says, well, I thought we were going to talk about this. Anyway, or I don't know if you actually said exactly, but anyway, we are going to start by talking about the origin, correct?
a story of.
A story of money.
A story's better than an actual origin.
I like stories.
Yeah.
I like stories. Will you tell me a story about the origin of money?
So, what is money?
Money is a medium of exchange.
Cool. What does that mean?
Well, it's not
really
too
cool
high.
words.
It's not too high and it's
Medium.
not too low.
It's in between.
It's in the middle.
It's in the middle of exchange.
Yeah.
I like that. It is in the middle of exchange. But
Oh,
what
my
does that
goodness.
really mean? So what are we saying when we say it's in the middle of exchange?
Well, it's something. It's a step above barter.
Oh, there we go. So let's talk about barter.
Okay.
Let's pretend like you're a farmer
Yes.
and you grow chickens.
Yes.
And I'm a farmer and I grow wheat.
Yes.
And I put my wheat in bags.
Yes. And I put my chicken in bags when they're pregnant,
Well-
and they won't. Well, when the eggs won't come out, I roll them in a bag down the hill. Remember?
Oh, I remember seeing that. Yes.
Yeah.
But let's just say that you are collecting up eggs.
Yeah.
And so
that's why I had to roll the chicken down the hill.
You accumulate those eggs in this really cool little carton thing.
chicken.
How many eggs go in
The
there?
hen, actually. How many eggs in a? Oh, usually it's a dozen.
Dozen. So,
Well, they have bigger ones too.
yeah, but you have them in this dozen box.
Yeah.
And I put my wheat in this bag and it's a bushel.
A bushel.
So we do bushels of wheat and dozens of eggs.
I think a bushel of wheat is more than a dozen eggs, though. I mean, it's like huge. You can make lots of flour with a bushel. How much is a bushel?
About 60 pounds.
Yeah, a bushel of wheat is bigger than one dozen eggs. I mean,
Okay.
it is 12
so,
eggs.
Okay, so let's think about that. So we're going to
trade.
trade, right? I need some eggs, you need some wheat. We're going to trade.
I'm going to have to give you more than one dozen eggs for that bushel because I wouldn't feel like it was being fair to you.
Okay, and so maybe 2 dozen eggs for a bushel of wheat.
60 pounds of flour?
It's wheat. It's not flour yet. You're gonna have to turn it into flour.
No, but it would be 60. Well, maybe.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to do some work on it, right?
Well,
I'm gonna have
you're
to
gonna
cook the eggs.
You're going to crack the eggs open.
Correct. Yeah, I'm gonna have to crack the eggs. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough
More
deal
than
on all
two.
of us.
I think more than 2.
Okay.
I don't.
So
Okay.
so currently
5 dozen eggs.
Currently, how would you if you bought eggs? What would you do?
I would use money, and money. Well, actually, I would actually use my credit card, which represents money.
Okay.
But I would use.
You'd use money.
Yeah, I would use money.
And what kind of money? What do we call?
We call our money in America. We call them dollars.
Okay, so you'd use dollars. How many dollars do you think it is for a dozen eggs, approximately?
From 3, 4, 2, somewhere in there.
3, 4, 2? 3, 4, 2. That's how much.
$3.42. Maybe we'll say that. It could be that.
So usually it's about $1.25.
It depends if you get the brown speck.
Oh,
it
you get,
depends.
yeah, that's right. You can get the
rangy eggs.
Yeah, you can get the eggs that made from chickens that don't lay eggs. Those are more expensive than from chickens that do lay eggs. I agree.
I'm confused, but we'll continue.
Okay, so
What's new?
So if I go to the store, it'll be approximately $1.25 for a dozen eggs.
Okay.
Approximately.
We'll say that.
Could be $1.50. It could be $1 depending
I agree.
upon the day.
I am totally in agreement with you, Dr. Beck.
And so now let's think about what 60 pounds of flour would sell for.
We don't buy
So
flour very much anymore.
10 pounds of flour would sell for about $2.
Okay. All right.
So 60 pounds of flour would sell for,
You said 10?
yeah,
Would be 2
60
times 6 would be like $12.
$12. Yeah.
Whew, I'm so good.
$12, right? So that's we kind of figure out a barter thing that way, right? So yeah, so 6 dozen eggs, 5 dozen eggs for 60 pounds of flour.
I was
You were
pretty
about
close.
right. Yeah, you're pretty close. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty fair.
Yeah, I'm
right there in the middle.
Yeah, right there in the middle.
Not too high,
you're in the
not too
medium.
low.
Let's say there's a third person in our group. And let's just say, for example, this third person has cattle. In particular, spotted ones that go moo and make milk.
And then you can get butter. And so you could make maybe cookies or cakes out
so
of
there
your
we
flour
go. So
and your
there,
eggs. And your...
Flour and eggs and butter. There we go. So we can make cookies. We need something sweetener too, so we need a fourth person eventually to get cookies. But that's okay. So there's 3 people.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you... I've got wheat.
Well, that's why they would go to the market, right?
I've got wheat, and the chicken person wants...
Well, the chicken person, that was me.
That's you.
I want some wheat, and I want some flour that doesn't hurt me. And
so
you
don't really want wheat.
I don't.
No, what do you want? You want butter.
I do.
You want butter. You want butter and eggs.
And cream.
Yeah.
I want butter and cream.
Whatever. Right. You want an omelet. I want omelets, right? I got it. I understand.
Then I want some bacon too, probably.
Right. So there we're gonna have to talk about pig farmer to get that. But so now you don't want my wheat, but I want your eggs.
I'm sorry.
I'm out of luck, aren't I?
SOL.
Yeah, I'm completely out of luck, and I can't do anything about it. I'm just eggless.
Eggless, and I'm sorry. It's not my fault.
Right.
Your
But I
could
go to the cow person, because the cow person probably likes to feed their cattle wheat.
Probably because they're not going to live long enough to hurt.
And they don't, for whatever reason, they like to eat wheat, and it makes them make more milk, and it's really a wonderful thing. So what I do is I go and I trade wheat for cream, and then what can I do?
If you trade wheat for cream and you have cream,
if
you get more cream than you want, then you could trade with me
for eggs, right?
So eggs.
But think about how inconvenient this is.
Well, I know you have to talk to everybody.
You have to talk to everybody. Everybody.
And then they have to be in agreement.
They have to be in agreement with everybody, and I don't really know what the price of eggs are. I know that I know that I can buy cream with wheat, and the wheat and the cream can then buy eggs, but I don't know what the ratio of cream and wheat and eggs.
So we were talking. Okay, that's barter. We're talking about barter here. So we got the barter down. The barter's a mess.
Okay, barter's a mess.
It works.
Messy. Okay, so let's say, what are we going to do to fix that?
Well, you're going to tell us a story about money.
Okay, so let's just start with something. Let's say that there's something that everybody wants. For whatever reason, everybody wants it.
Water.
Air. Okay, so everybody wants water and air. But do I have to search it out, really? Or is it just kind of available?
Air is available. Water...
I can walk to the stream and get. Maybe I'd be willing to have somebody not walk to the stream. Have somebody walk to the stream for me. But water is also pretty ubiquitous. It's all over the place. So I was thinking
for those who are lucky. We're lucky.
Yeah. What about salt?
We need salt too.
We need salt, right? We need salt to survive. And salt only shows up like in a few places, right? So where there used to be a sea that's dried up, there's lots of salt.
Yeah.
Or I can take a bucket of seawater and I can put it out in the sun and let it evaporate. And now I've got some salt. Right? So there's lots of ways that I can get salt, but salt is not ubiquitous.
A bucket of water gives you salt, huh?
Salt water. Evaporate the water out.
Well, if it's salt water, but...
Yeah, that's why I said sea.
Oh, you said sea salt. I missed that part.
Yeah, okay.
So
there we go. So there we go. So we've got it out, and we've got salt. So now salt, and so maybe we can measure everything up in salt. So a pound of salt is worth a dozen eggs.
Oh, we could use tulip bulbs.
Well, we'll get to tulip bulbs. We could use tulip bulbs, but let's get to salt was actually used for exchange. So exactly that way.
Just like tulip bulbs.
No, they were never really used for... when we talk about tulip bulbs, we'll be talking about another? Not currency.
Okay. I'm getting ahead of...
You're getting ahead of the story, a long ways ahead of the story, right? So there's salt, right? And salt, we can use it to exchange.
Okay.
And there's a problem with salt. What happens when it rains?
It goes into the ground?
Yeah, it kind of...
Well, you have to keep it inside.
Yeah. And so what happens if you want to go out and buy something and it's raining?
Well, you put your salt inside.
What happens if you forget it in your wallet and you go swimming? It gets washed.
Same thing that happens if you keep your papers in your wallet and you wash your wallet.
Yeah, so salt has this problem. So people figured something else out.
Well, you know, the cool thing about dollars is that you can wash dollars. You can launder your money.
But we're gonna talk about a different thing, right? So what's the other thing? Everybody talks about it. It's yellow, it's metal.
Gold.
Gold, right? So
Thank you.
it's yellow and metal. And everybody likes it for some reason.
I know.
Everybody likes it.
I know.
And if nothing else, you know, if I have some gold, there's always somebody in a castle that has lots of stuff that wants more of it.
In a castle, yes. Definitely in a castle.
There's somebody in a castle that wants more of the gold, and I can take the gold to that person in the castle, and that person in the castle will give me eggs and whatever else they've got stored in the castle for the gold. Right? So they've got this really cool thing, this exchange. And oh, by the way, we can standardize our pieces of gold.
Yeah.
We can make little round discs of them. Mm-hmm. Cool little round discs of them. And we can stamp pictures of things on them.
You know, dimes used to be silver.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And we can stamp pictures on them. And now we've got this standardized size. It's a specific thickness and a specific roundness and a specific picture on it.
Yeah.
And we go, oh, that is so much gold. And we say, well, it's a doubloon or whatever we want to call it. Mm-hmm. But now it's a certain amount of gold. Okay. And we know how much it is, and it's standardized.
Okay.
Okay, and so there I've got these gold coins in a bag.
Jingle, jingle, jangle, heavy, heavy.
Heavy. That's the issue with them, right?
Yeah.
You get backache carrying your money around.
Right.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good. So what I do, I was going to use this gold to get eggs. And, you only want a piece of the gold. You don't want all of it. So I cut it up into...
Well, maybe I do want all of it.
Yeah, you might want all of it, but I'm not willing to give you all.
You don't want to give me all of it for
So we cut it up and we make pieces of 8.
Seriously?
Seriously, that's what a piece of 8 is that they cut a gold coin into 8 pieces.
I guess gold is pretty soft.
They cut a gold into 8 pieces. They gave you one of the pieces. That's a piece of 8.
Whew, what if they didn't get the pie?
Pie was rarely cut right. That's never been a problem, right? So if you're just using it for exchange, it just matters that it looks right.
Oh, it doesn't even matter that it really is exact. It's just you agree that it means that.
Yeah.
It's a good story.
Yeah, I just agree with it. So now I'm carrying this stuff around, and it's not really terribly...
So money's an agreement?
So wait, we're going to get further.
Oh.
Right? Because what is money now? What is money
Exciting.
now? Right? So if we look at it, what is money now?
That's clean money, by the way.
Yeah, you laundered it. Right? In the United States, that's money.
Yes.
Does it look like a piece of gold?
No, it has a little gold 20 on there, but it doesn't.
Is it? I mean, it's even got...
Is that gold on that 20?
No, no, probably not. No.
Okay. But it does wash well.
And it's got a picture of a really ugly guy on it.
Well, that's not very nice.
Well, it's not his fault. I mean, he was born ugly.
Never... Well, it just is him.
Yeah. I mean,
I should know who it is.
What I would do is, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful that I would want to put this like all over my house. Right? Isn't that beautiful? So it's a pretty guy, and you'd want pictures, a poster of him all over the place, right?
Is it Hamilton?
No.
Jefferson?
No.
Who is it?
You can read the name on it.
I'm trying to. I can't see it.
Well, we will see. Anybody who goes on, if you can tell Sarah D who's on the 20 bill.
That's so terrible. I thought I knew. Where does it say his name? It's not Stephen T. Oh, at the very bottom.
Right underneath his name.
Okay, I know who it is. It's Jackson.
Oh.
I can hear them yelling, Jackson!
Andrew Jackson in particular.
I didn't say Andrew, so I just said Jackson.
Yeah. Anyway. I
don't want to be pretentious.
So this is a pretty ugly piece of paper.
Okay.
Right, so is this artwork?
He's very ugly.
And he's an ugly person.
He is
right. It's not like, oh gee, I want to put that all over my room. Right, it's not decorative. It's not like gold where I'd want to wear it around my neck. You know, we're not folding it up into anything and making pretty pictures out of it. All it is a thing.
It's a
thing. So where did it come from? And why does it have value?
Because we've decided it has value.
So we've decided it's value. But why have we decided?
We were told it had value when we were little. That's why we do.
Why have we decided to let a piece of ugly paper have value?
Because we didn't want to have to deal with cutting up gold, and we didn't have to deal with trying to figure out how many eggs are going to do is how much wheat, and if there was more or less wheat, then the wheat would have different value, and if the eggs weren't laying well, they'd have different value. And how do you? Oh my goodness!
Oh, it's way too many things. So what I would do is I would take all my gold and I would take it to the goldsmith and I would put it in his vault. Why would I put it in the goldsmith's vault?
You would take your money, your gold, and put it in the goldsmith's vault?
Yeah.
So nobody would steal it?
Yeah. He had a safe vault for storing gold. Why? Because he was a goldsmith. Makes a lot of sense. So I'd go and I'd take my gold there and I'd say, here's 5 pounds of gold. And I'd put it in there, or whatever they measure gold in. And he'd give me a certificate that said, you put 5 pounds of gold in my vault. There I go. I got this piece of paper that says I got 5 pounds of gold in the vault.
So I have a question. Is it okay if I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So the goldsmith's vault, is that, I don't even know the name of the thing now. Is that like something we have now?
It will be.
Okay.
So I've got the goldsmith's vault and I've got a piece of paper that says that I've got 5 pounds in there. And I come to you and I want to buy eggs. And you say, I want 2 ounces of gold for it. Mm-hmm. And I say, oh, that's cool. Here's a note that I'm going to write. Dear Mr. Goldsmith, give Sarah D 2 ounces of my gold. Signed, Dr. D. And I give it to you.
And then the goldsmith does that for free?
Well, he may charge.
Okay, but we won't worry about that.
We won't worry about that right now.
So that's how then the goldsmith...
All of a sudden, I've got a piece of paper that says I've got a balance of gold. And I write this thing that becomes gold. And you can shake it and adjust it.
And I can get the gold, or
it's like a check.
Yeah, or I could use it somewhere else and say, so-and-so said this was this much and I'll give it to you. Could I give that to somebody else to buy it too? So we're writing our own money because we have gold. And so that's why people say they want to go on the gold standard.
Yeah, beautiful, right? And everybody's writing up their own gold certificates and sending them around. Here in the United States, we said you had to be special to write a gold certificate.
You know, the thing is, if they used regular paper, they could launder it and it would be gone.
Yeah, if you wash it, that would be bad, yeah.
I know, this money, it washes very well. Probably looks, you know what, it probably straightened it out.
So then we started printing it up. Mm-hmm. And we said this was worth so much gold. And we stored all that gold in Fort Knox, the goldsmith.
Ah.
Right? And we send these out and everybody... And then we started realizing, why was there gold behind here?
Because people had already determined that gold had value.
But these pieces of paper were never really turned into gold ever.
They just used them.
They just circulated.
Mm-hmm. And the gold stayed in Fort Knox.
Yeah, never moved. It was just always there.
What a waste.
Yeah, and not like that.
Think of all the jewelry.
Think of all the jewelry, right? So that was so if the gold's never going anywhere, why does there have to be gold with this? See, what am I doing? I'm giving it to you for eggs. You're giving it to the cow farmer, to the dairy for
the cream and the butter.
For cream, and the dairy is giving it back to me, right? For wheat, so, and then it comes back to me.
Ring around the rosy.
It never becomes.
It doesn't become gold.
Never once does it becomes eggs, and it becomes dairy, and it becomes wheat.
Can you imagine if you had to keep a track of how many hands it passed through?
Wow, that'd be expensive.
It would be very expensive.
Large ledger.
Yeah, it'd be a large
We'll
ledger.
get into that. Don't worry.
I don't know ever what you're talking about, Dr. D.
So anyway, we decided that it doesn't need to have gold anywhere near it.
Okay, all we have to do as a people is to have an agreement that this represents a certain amount of monetary
value. Yeah.
And as long as we all agree on that, well then what's wrong with making counterfeit money?
Oh, so now let's talk about that just a little bit. So we all agree on this.
Yeah, I mean, if it looks just like it, then...
And now let's ask a funny question. How much of this do we need? What are we using it for?
We need all of it.
I need all of it, but how much, what are we doing with it?
We are buying stuff.
What are we doing with this?
We're exchanging.
I'm giving it to you, and you're giving it, and it's...
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All I need is enough of this
To do the
to play this game. That's all I need. I need enough dollars. I need enough dollars to move the goods and services that I'm moving around. And this takes a little bit of time, right? So I need more than just one of them for everybody else in the world to use. I just need however enough of them is.
Right.
And there is a way to determine what the right number of them are. And we can calculate that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that what economists do?
Sort of.
Okay.
But not well. Nobody does it well, but that's okay.
I'm trying to track you to the side.
So we're now exchanging this flimsy piece of paper back and forth. And we call it money, and it does three things. In order for this to be money, it has to do three things.
Three things.
You already said one of them.
There has to be an agreement that it has value.
Okay, so there's an agreement that it has value.
Between people that are willing to trade it.
And what does it mean, I agree that it has value?
It's kind of, it seems magical.
Okay, so I've got an agreement that it has value. That is, I give it to you, and it was worth $20 worth of eggs. And you gave me $20 worth of eggs. And you gave it to somebody else.
And I got $20 worth of cream and butter.
So what did it have to, when you say it has value, what did it have to?
It had to maintain its value.
Oh, it had to store that value through the transactions.
You gave it to me, but it didn't lose any value.
No, it had to maintain its value through the transactions. It couldn't change.
Good. You're so good. So that's number two. Number one, we have to agree that it has value. And
No. That's agreeing that it has value. Is that it always has that value.
So number one is that we agree it has value, and that value.
We call that store of value.
And that value is stored.
Stored.
It is maintained.
It's maintained. It doesn't change.
Okay, so we agree that this has a store of value.
And we agree.
Okay.
And what did we do with it? I mean, we passed this back and forth, but something else passed back and forth.
Product. Stuff.
So it allowed us to exchange goods and services. Which is the important thing, because nobody cares about this, right? It's an ugly, we decided ugly person.
We think Jackson's ugly. I remember Jackson. Did you?
So it has no innate value in and of itself.
Okay.
Except that we agree that it's got this stored value of $20.
It's been imbued with value.
And we can use it. We agree upon exchanging it.
And we agree, okay, so that's two. We agree upon exchanging it.
Yeah.
So number one, we agree that it has value, and that value is stored and maintained, and we agree that we will use it for exchange.
Right.
Okay. All right. So everyone there has agreed that they will use money as an exchange. So okay, that's two. And these are the three things that make something money.
There's a third thing.
Okay, so was gold money?
Gold was used as a money.
Okay.
Yes, it was a currency.
Okay, so keep going. Now number three.
How do we measure the value of things?
Well, that's transitory, isn't it?
Yeah, but how do we measure it?
Oh, we measure it in money.
In what money?
We measure it in American dollars.
We measure it in dollars, right? So you can show me $20 worth of eggs. You can pile it up and say, that's $20 worth of eggs. And we measure it as $20 worth of eggs. We can go and we can say, so-and-so is worth $30 billion. And we can pile up whatever it is, then we count everything up. So we use it as a unit of accounting. We account for things using this.
Economics is not accounting, but economics uses money as a measure.
A tool of measuring everything up, of counting everything up. We count everything up in this thing, right?
Okay.
So if a thing does these three things, allows for exchange.
So if it is something that we agree has value and stores value, and we agree that we will use it for exchange, and
we understand when we measure things up, we measure,
and it's something that we measure value of stuff,
right? Because it's hard to add apples and oranges. But $10 of apples and $5 of oranges cost me $15. So all of a sudden I've added apples and oranges and it's come up to $15.
Oh my goodness, it's so clever. That's very clever. The third one messes me up a little bit. So, okay, so this is the beginning of the story of money, or are we done with the story?
Oh, so we've got all the way
We're
to
already
what,
at 24 minutes.
and we've
25
already gotten to
minutes.
what our money is.
So we've done the story of money.
Yes,
So that's a good story.
it is a good story.
That's where money came from.
That is.
So
And that's what it has to do.
are we going to end with something, or are we going to pick up?
That's up to you, right? It's your show.
Well, how much will the next part take?
Another 10 minutes.
Should we just go with it?
Do you want
Foundation is there. Let's just go with it.
Okay.
So we have agreed that this is money.
to? Money.
But there is another thing called currency.
Currency.
But is this currency?
Currency is anything that's money.
Currency is anything that's money. I like that. That's easy. Currency is anything that is money.
Across some domain.
And across some domain. And money is something that it has three qualities. We agree that it has. Just a minute. You say it. I'll do the fingers.
No, you say it.
Okay. We agree that it has value.
Yes.
And the value stores. And we agree that we will use it as a medium of exchange for stuff.
Yes.
You're so proud of me. I am too. Okay. Ugh. Third, this is not where my brain likes to think. Okay. It loves to think here. Okay. I was wrong when I forgot who I was. Okay. Third, we can, yeah, that makes sense, but I don't, I love you. We can add apples and oranges, but again, I wouldn't know how to say that.
Unit of account.
It is a unit of account. I would
It's
get
how
that,
we measure
I would get that
value.
one wrong on a test.
It's how we measure value.
It's how we measure value.
Yeah.
It's how we measure value. It's how we count value. It's
Yeah.
how we account for
Anything
value.
that does that is a money.
Anything that does that is
And a
money.
currency is something that does that.
So there's something called cryptocurrency.
Across, right. So a good example of different monies, right? Or currencies.
Okay, so there's the
Canadian dollar.
there's
It's not the same as this one, but in Canada, in that domain, it does exactly what this does.
And there's pesos. There's like
Pesos
things in Mexico.
and in that domain, it does the same thing that this
in
does.
the Mexican domain. Okay,
Yeah.
the Mexico state or whatever. Or not.
There's renminbi, and in China, it does what this does.
But where's yen?
Yen is in Japan.
Japan. Okay. And there are pounds.
Pounds in England.
Okay, so, and there are these monies, they call them currencies that are like
Cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency. And it reminds me of credit cards.
Okay.
But
So
they're trying to say it's not, but they don't have any money behind them.
So
well,
what we're talking about is a digital currency, right? So let's think about digital currency. And we already have digital currencies all over the place, right?
We do, like
so my
that.
debit card is a great example of a digital currency. So
Yeah.
we already have digital currencies everywhere. But let's talk about things like cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin or Doge or Ethereum. Ethereum, whatever it's called.
Erythritol.
Erythritol, whatever. Yeah. So let's talk about those things. Now, so Bitcoin, just because it's the most popular.
I know.
Okay.
It's so popular.
It's so popular.
It's so cute.
So what was the first thing we said that it had to do?
We have to agree that it has value and that value is maintained.
Okay. So let's talk about that.
There are people who agree that Bitcoin has value.
Okay. They agree that it has value. Is that value maintained?
Well, people would argue that the dollar value is not maintained either.
No value is maintained perfectly. I agree.
So it's not maintained perfectly.
So let's think about this. A cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, about 4 months ago, was worth $60,000.
One coin.
One coin.
That's like a big piece of gold.
And now it's worth like $35,000. Right? So that's like this cut, like most of it cut off and disappeared, right? So it's like this.
The Bitcoin sounds more like the stock market then. It can fall a lot or raise a lot.
So it may be an asset. It may be an asset, but it kind of fails that it holds its value thing.
So it's not a currency.
Well,
so it fails the first one.
So it fails the first one, and let's ask what failing the first one does for the second one.
The second one is that you have to be willing to exchange it with each other. So if it doesn't hold its value, how can you feel confident to exchange it because
Right. So if I give you this for a Bitcoin worth of eggs, right? So I give you this and a Bitcoin worth of eggs. If it goes up in value a lot,
then I'm really
you
buying
win,
it.
and you get like 2 Bitcoins worth of cream.
Cream and butter.
Cream and butter, right? That's a beautiful thing, right?
It is.
But if I knew that it was going to go up, or I thought that it might go up and be worth 2 Bitcoins, what have I given it to you for your eggs?
No, but who can know that?
But you can anticipate that it's going to be going up. Why do people buy Bitcoin now? They think it's going to go up. Why are they selling it now? Because they think it's going to go down, right? So all of those kinds of things. Because it's not a store of value, I'm not willing to use it for a unit of exchange.
Because we don't use things in the stock market as a unit of exchange, do we?
So there's 2 problems it has. It has 2 problems already. So the first one, because it doesn't store value, makes it very hard to be a medium for exchange. Right? If I think it's going down, if you think it's going down, you're not going to accept it from me.
Right. And besides, I don't even know how you can. Yeah, it's not even something that's tangible.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. This is. I mean, you put your fingers on. My debit card isn't tangible either.
You're
right. So that's irrelevant. Okay. But the point is that the $20 tomorrow is still going to buy about $20 worth of stuff, and you can say, "Oh no, in 10 years it's not going to buy $20 worth of stuff." And I go, "Yeah, in 10 years it won't."
And just in the last year, the inflation's only gone up how much?
7%.
7%?
Yeah, and whereas this, in a very real sense, inflation in this would be closer to 50%.
$2?
No, in Bitcoin. If I was using Bitcoin, my Bitcoin has fallen in value by approximately 50%. That's 50% inflation rate, right? So
it doesn't maintain its value.
No, it's very bad at maintaining its value. Even in very bad years, this only loses its value at 6 or 7%.
And the third one was that you could buy apples and oranges with it.
I use it to count things up.
To count things up, and they count Bitcoin up in dollars.
They absolutely. So nobody counts Bitcoin up in Bitcoin. How many Bitcoin do you have? You don't ask that question. You say how much.
The fact that, or they call it a currency is just because they want us to think it's a currency.
Right, so it's a misnomer because it's not.
It's actually inaccurate. It's not. What's misnomer mean?
It's a lie.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah,
it's a nice way of saying falsehood.
Yeah, it's deceptive and it's not accurate.
It could, if it became stable in value, that is, that it didn't change. You and I would agree that a Bitcoin isn't going up or down in value precipitously, so that we could engage in the exchange as opposed to speculate in the value of the currency itself.
As opposed to having it be like the stock market.
Exactly.
We don't use the stock market as a medium to get eggs.
Right.
We have to take money out of the stock market and...
Yeah, exactly.
So cryptocurrency is not a currency.
It's not a currency because it's not money.
So Bitcoin is not a currency. Bitcoin is an idea.
It's an idea.
It's amazing what people have done with an idea, right?
Oh, lots of ideas. People do lots of money, right? So there's this weird guy that decided he'd make cars electric. That doesn't make his stock a currency.
Right. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
We did well.
I think so.
Cool.
We talked about money.
We talked about money.
Everybody loves money.
And what a currency is and what a currency is not.
Is not.
A currency must meet the
3 things of
the
money.
3 things of money. I'm not going to go over what they are again because I've got them right down.
Good.
Don't want to waste anybody's time.
Okay, good.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we have our areas, our domains of interest and maybe expertise in some way.
She tells me how to make my life better.
He helps me make mine better. So anyway, thank you for joining us. I'm Sarah D.
I'm Dr. D. Namaste.
Make it a great day.